Welcome back. If you're new, please subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. It's July the 3rd of 2019. It's been 48 weeks since we got started with the Red Wigglers. Start off with the Worm Factory 360. Was the original system we started with 1 pound of Red Wigglers. This tray was on the very bottom, and we moved it up, try to get the worms to migrate down. Since they don't seem to want to migrate up, I have found that baiting them out or putting the bottom tray up top helps to get them to migrate down. This I have not fed this tray in several weeks. Like it's mainly castings. Got a few worms here and there. So obviously there's still some food. The middle tray we have been feeding is primarily shredded cardboard and peat moss. There's quite a few worms in it. They've either moved down from the tray we just looked at or have moved up from the bottom tray. It's not as moist as I'd like it to be, so I'll probably add something. And the very bottom tray, as you can see, quite a few nice looking castings on top, and inside a lot of castings. Still looks like there's some cardboard here and there. Quite a few red wigglers hanging out. Moisture feels a little bit better in that tray. Quite a few worms in there. Just a few castings around the rim of the worm ladder. Pretty dry down there. Got some used coffee grounds and filters. Got a little bit of mold on there, but that won't hurt a thing. Well, I'll go ahead and pour that. This is the middle tray. Quite a bit of coffee grounds and filters there. I'm just going to kind of mix this up a little bit. A little bit of that bedding mixed in. We'll see what that does. And this was our holding bin for quite a long time, and they've pretty much turned it all into castings. Still a ton of worms in here. Just want to kind of aerate this up a little bit. Oh yeah, still a bunch of worms in here. I haven't added any food. Just kind of letting them go through this. Finish up what's in here. Do have a bait cup. Looks like there's a bunch of worms around it. I'll wait on that. Go ahead and turn the rest of this up. And there is a ton of worms. Look at that. It smells great. Smells good and earthy. Mainly castings. Not sure what that was. Looks like potato peels. I'll go ahead and move that over here. Several worms in there. various sizes. And this was our bin we started. Let's go ahead and dump this bait cup. Quite a few worms in there. There we go. Oh yeah. Definitely moved in there. Another little piece here. Yeah, this was the bin I'd started with the worms that were baited out. Looking good. Moisture's a little wet, not terribly wet. I did go ahead and add some potatoes that were in the garden that were bad. I dug up a few potatoes. And it looks like they're hanging out by those. Pretty nice clue right there. Might be kind of hard to see them all because of all the shredded cardboard. There's a bunch. Not quite sure. Oh wow. There we go. Hopefully it'll focus. Nice. I'm gonna go ahead and bust these potatoes up a little bit. Juicy. Yeah, I could just tell they were rotten when I dug them up. Had some bad spots. Rotten spot there. See what happens with those for next week. I'll put them in that corner. Cover them up. There's another one. Bunch of worms on it. Put it over here too. Well, maybe we can get a good worm ball next week. And other than that, if you missed last week, that's our castings bin. Have not tried to bait any more worms out of here, but there are still some in here, obviously. I did sift it several times, and this is what I come up with. You can see it's pretty much halfway, or at least up to the rim of that. That's 16 quart. Some pretty castings. They've been sifted, so that's should be 100% castings. A few eggshells in there. That'll be alright, because they'll be going in the garden. So it's been a while since I've shown the bait cups. I've got just some regular peat moss I'm going to put in the bottom of the cups. Maybe about 3/4 of the way full. And I've got some slop. I've got some banana peels, some bad squash out of the garden. Just gonna fill that up. Let it soak in to that peat moss, because the peat moss was dry, so it will take a little bit to soak up. Plus I've got all these holes in the sides for the worms to go in. We'll let that soak in and we'll be back in a minute. Alright, they've settled down. I'm just going to add some dry peat moss on top of these two bigger ones. I'm not going to the smaller one because it's going to go in the castings. This was our bin. It's been our holding bin for quite a few weeks now. I'm just going to put these in there, surround them. There hasn't been any food put in here in quite some time, so I'm expecting some nice worm balls next week. I'm gonna put this tall one in there. That'll take quite a bit to get around it. There's a ton of worms in here, so we'll see what happens with that. And this is our castings bin. Not really sure that there's very many worms left in here, but I probably should have saved the big cup for it since it's so deep, but I didn't, so we shall see what happens.
Thanks for joining me for Red Wiggler Wednesday. Please hit that thumbs up, leave me a comment. Till next time, have a great day.